So I'm going to be talking about the mechanisms of evolution, which are natural selection, genetic drift, and gene flow. So first, natural selection is a process through populations of living organisms that evolve. The favorable traits are then passed down through different generations. Some information about natural selection: it does not produce perfection, it has no goals, and is not random, unlike mutations. So an example is that the giraffe that's the tallest is going to survive because it can reach the leaves to eat and to survive, while the other two giraffes that are smaller will not survive because they cannot reach the tree for the leaves for food. And so it has no goal. It's just that the taller one basically has more fitness against the other two to survive and reproduce. Now, genetic drift is a change in frequency of an existing gene variant in a population that results from random sampling. Some information is it occurs when a variation forms a gene or an allele and is based on a genetic differentiation. An example would be the founder's effect, where a few species from a population start a new population with a different allele frequency, the original population. So as you can see, one of these red ladybugs breaks away from the large population to make a new population of just red ladybugs instead of the red and the yellow. So the new population is a newly founded population, and then there's gene flow, which is pretty similar to genetic drift, but gene flow is a movement of genes in or out of a population. So this has to do with migration or a movement of a gamete. There's two types, vertical or horizontal, which vertical has to do with the populations, and has to do with gene flow being sexually, or the horizontal is non-sexually movement. Some example is that a brown ladybug from an all brown population then goes into an all green ladybug or population. And some differences, since these two between gene flow and genetic drift often seem the same. The difference is gene flow has one population to another that can increase, but it can also decrease, while drift is a random change. It can decrease but not increase genetic variation. So overall, the genetic drift has to do with the allele frequencies, while the gene flow has to do with like a migration and has to do with one population going to another. And genetic drift has to do with one species from a population going to form its own population. And that's all.